This is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devil Saturday. This is Game Day Live, coming to you live from American Whiskey by the Pizza Oven in the back. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Oh My Goodness, as we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live on the Let's Go Devils Network as the Devils take on the New York Rangers today for Game 63. Doug, we just ran out of runway on this music. I'm letting it just filter in. Vinny Parisi is on assignment. Beer Baron, I don't know where Beer Baron is. I think he's with his family right now. So
that's when they call in the big dogs.
Yep. And that's why we have this backup plan here on the Let's Go Devils podcast called MOS.
EBUB. You know the EBUB.
Or EBUB. Emergency Backup Broadcaster or Man on the Street. That's what happens when we have scheduling conflicts. So, oh my goodness, good friend of the podcast. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. It's busy nice and early here for Devils Rangers, even though shred of a doubt of no playoffs for both teams, but they're here supporting, and we're having a good day at American Whiskey.
Oh, absolutely. It's actually crowded here. What you're seeing right now is our new super wide cam, and I look wider than ever. I think I look wider than ever. It looks like I put on some pounds.
I told Sam just stand next to me, and you'll look good. You'll look like the number 10 standing next to each other.
So we had tryouts. We had tryouts before the podcast.
I passed the test.
Yeah, and also he gave out Rangers Suck fortune cookies out to the crowd today. So we hit some tables. A lot of Ranger fans in this bar.
They're about to get a surprise when they open them up.
Yeah, when little Ranger fans, these kids open it up, and like, Dad, what? I can't read. What does this say?
Is that Dawson Mercer?
That's Dawson Mercer as a Ranger fan. Anyway. But yeah, so I see Pod Legend loving these day games because I'm never unable to jump into the game day chat at night. So he never has a chance. So now he's on our game day chat, which is cool. But at the same time, I have a conspiracy.
Let's hear it.
I think after that Devils Rangers playoff series a couple years ago, have you noticed, and I know they say it's TV, but have you noticed that every Devils Rangers game, or not every, but most of the Devils are afternoon games now?
Well, what's the conspiracy?
That everybody gets all liquored up and it's out of control if it's a 7 p.m. start?
That could be.
Yeah. Burpee says the cam looks great. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely. And then we also have let's take our AI cam around the bar here. Let's switch feeds here to the AI cam. This place is crowded. I mean, it's just absolutely. There's a lot of people here. We're on the eating side of the restaurant, but there's just a lot of people here. I got here pretty early, and this place was packed. Like, it was packed.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
popped in here a little before 1, and already it was standing room only.
Yeah. So, but we're right now. It's kind of it's nice weather outside. People are outside. Because of the weather, it was a 50-50 chance that we were going to get showers, so we didn't do it actually outside the Let's Go Devils podcast. But all right, so let's talk some hockey here. What were your thoughts on trade deadline, the lack thereof? What are your thoughts?
Well, you could have gone a few ways with Fitz here. I think a lot of fans are happy that he didn't make any rash moves and sell off pieces or buy things that we did not need. But at the same token, I know me personally, I was kind of hoping for a few hockey trades there, where we're gonna bring in a piece that would help us not just this year but beyond this year. And if you watch the presser, looks like that wasn't out there. Got a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of inconsistencies with what he's bringing to us. He's telling us that Dougie was never put out there. Then you hear earlier that was the reason why he was benched. He's telling us it was because of his play. So, it's kind of hard to get a read on what actually happened. But, the bottom line is we did nothing. And now we just have to look for the offseason to make some moves because they're playing well as of late, but we all know it's not happening as is right now.
Yeah, and you know what? No GM is ever going to admit what really happened. Because I know Vinny put out there about, the rumor of that the San Jose Sharks offered William Eklund for Shimon Nemitz, kind of a starting point. And Vinny putting out that tweet that the Devils said no. And then there were, so it caused a Twitter storm. And like I said this morning on the Morning Woo, but the thing is, it's like no GM is going to ever admit it. Like, do you really believe Tom Fitzgerald in their press conference that Dougie Hamilton was never offered to anybody?
No, I don't.
I don't believe it.
I will say one thing. You do have to read between the lines with these pressers. And one thing that was very evident from that presser is that he is not a fan of Simon Nemitz.
Yeah.
I don't know if you gathered that or not, but if you see the stark difference between the answer he gave when he talked about signing Simon Nemitz to an extension and signing Gritsuk to an extension, he jumped right on Gritsuk's extension. Oh, yeah, we got to get it done. He's a joy to watch.
Yep.
And Simon, it was kind of like, well, you know what? It is what it is. What will happen, and we need to jettison one of our defensemen. So I think the writing's on the wall for Nemitz, to be honest.
Yep.
And I'm glad they didn't make a rash decision right now and move him for a fourth liner or something silly like that. But
Yep.
I would say look for him to be moved in the offseason because he's already changed agents now.
Yep.
And he's going to be looking for a deal supposedly starting at the Luke Hughes deal. So this team cannot afford that at this point, and I don't think they want to pay that. So look for him to be moved to bring in that missing piece on the forward group. And, there's been a few names out there, Matthew Nyes, people like that. I think you'd have to give more than that to get a guy like that. But we'll see what the offseason brings. But for now, we're bringing it back, and the only change we really had was Luke Glendening getting claimed by Flyers off waivers. Otherwise, from that, our group's the same. We picked up Bugstad before the deadline a while ago. I feel he's been a pretty decent addition. Low cap hit, so we'll probably bring him back next year. And then we'll see what happens in the offseason.
Well, yeah, and also you got to start budgeting a possibility of Quinn Hughes becoming a New Jersey Devil. He's got one more year left on his contract after this season. July 1st is the first, when they can officially, if Minnesota is able to re-sign him to an extension. But I don't know. I mean, after that trade, it seemed like Quinn was on this high.
Yep.
It seemed like he was kind of adamant that he wanted to be in New Jersey. But, he talked about, without naming Fitzgerald, that having a set of balls to actually make the trade for him.
Right.
And he made that known. But since then, again, Quinn is having I think moderate success in Minnesota. He played with Jack in the Olympics. We know the story, what happened in the Olympics. And now all the talk about, would you join your other brother, Luke, which he's signed long term.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna echo there for a second, is that I really do think that their time in the Olympics made them realize how much they want to play together.
Yep.
And with Luke on the team, signed for another 7 years. So there's not really any chance of him going somewhere pretty soon. So you really got to hope that's what cemented it for Quinn.
Yep.
And like you said, they should budget. They're looking to make a plan for Quinn 2027. Whether Minnesota can woo him to sign an extension, we'll find out. But I think there's also a chance that he gets moved again, because I don't think Billy Guerin, he's a shrewd GM. He's not going to want to lose all those assets he gave up for him for nothing. So if he realizes there's a chance that he's not going to be able to re-sign him, he might look to move him again.
Yeah, I mean, all the assets that they sent over to Vancouver, it was great for a week, and then they just went back to their old ways, right?
Yep.
So,
of course, it was great when they played against us.
Yeah, of course, and that's what happens. But, Minnesota, it looks like they're going to go in the playoffs, whether they have success or not or whatnot. We can't worry about that right now. What we can worry about, or what we should focus on, is Jack Hughes. I think after the Olympics, talk about somebody needing the Olympics and the fans needing an Olympic reset to just kind of reset this whole thing. Devils lost the first 2 games after the Olympic break, but now they've run. They're at a 3-game winning streak right now. Right now, scoreboard watching. Right now, I think the latest I have is it's the second intermission right now. Boston won, Capitals won. As we're doing this podcast, if Washington can beat Boston in regulation and the Devils win today, you're 5 points out. You're 5 points out. Now, again, you still need to have the Blue Jackets lose either way, but again, it is a tight Eastern Conference. One losing streak and one winning streak, suddenly they all collide, and now you have a kind of
Perfect storm?
Yeah, of just now you got to go to the tiebreakers, and you hope
Absolutely.
that the NHL has enough tiebreakers to get through this one.
Right,
If they're all,
it is tight, no doubt.
Yeah.
And if you look at Boston, you look at Washington. I don't really feel any of them have made sea change moves. They did make some moves, but nothing major. So it's low hanging fruit right now if the Devils want to go on a run.
Yeah.
We know they're capable of it because they've done it at the beginning of the season when they were fully healthy. And we were just talking about it before we went on the air, is that it looks like there's been a slight tweak to their system, where they're not being as conservative as they were before. The extended rush is happening. The long stretch passes are happening again. Things that made this team great, that caught the other team by surprise, weren't happening for a long stretch, just trying to sacrifice offense for defense. And it looks like now they're doing both. They're doing those things, but they're still playing sound defensively. They're getting good goaltending from Jacob Markstrom. So we'll see what happens.
Definitely see what happens. And again, I wouldn't give up at this point. You're still in early March. I know the percentages don't look good, but you know what? The other day, during the Bears, I forgot who they were playing, and the odds, they were down in the fourth quarter, and the odds maker said that they only had like a 0.5% chance or 1% chance of winning the game. But for whatever reason, I thought they were going to win the game, so I actually put it like a $10 bet, won like 110 and all that. But, stranger things have happened. And we can't get bogged down on these analytics, the probability, and all that kind of stuff. You got to, in context, look what's going on here. Jacob Markstrom is playing very well right now. Jack Hughes is playing very well right now. The team is actually healthy right now. You've got an Eastern Conference where it's just like if you hang around long enough and you get hot at the right time, you can make that surge. I'm hoping that the New Jersey Devils make that surge this weekend. You've got 4 points on the line. You got the Rangers today and Detroit tomorrow. Detroit, they lost Larkin, right? Didn't they lose Larkin
I believe they
yesterday?
did.
So, again, stranger things have happened in the Eastern Conference. Injuries happen. Also, if you look at the standings, a lot of these teams are ahead of the Devils have loser points. You got to take that into consideration, that a lot of these have these overtime losses or shootout losses and all that, and that's the difference.
And that's actually been the biggest factor for them this year.
Yeah.
Is we barely have any overtime losses at all. It was maybe 2.
Yeah.
So any of these games, if they were able to push it to overtime, we would have got that point to be right in there in the thick of it. But if you look at the actual wins, we're right up there with some of these teams, and fully healthy right now. Little tweak to the system. There's no telling what could happen. It's probably just us being cautious. I mean, cautiously optimistic Devil fans. We've seen this happen before, but there's not been a lot of that in this season specifically.
Yep.
But they have shown it in the last couple. The last game was a really good game. There was. I was kind of feeling like they were going to do the same thing they always do. They got scored on late, and they were going to mail it in. They were going to fold, as Sheldon Keefe said, and they didn't. They got a gritty goal, beautiful pass from Gritzuk to Brown, a beautiful run by Luke Hughes, who looks like he's fully healthy again now, and then he got the overtime winner. So, and you know what? We're talking about Jack Hughes. He is playing well, but he also hasn't really scored too much for us either.
Yep.
So that's going to come. He's got that scoring touch back. He's fully healthy. His hand's not in a brace anymore.
Yep.
We saw what he can do with the Olympics. He's gonna pop any minute now, and when he does, that's going to be a very good thing for the Devils.
Oh, absolutely. Robert Isaac says in the YouTube Live that the shuffling of the lines helped. Jack and Luke were skating strong. Best ozone puck possession we saw in a while was the last game. Hopefully that maintains. Oh, yeah. Entering in the zone, Jesper Bratt's actually been pretty good taking the puck in. Same with Jack Hughes, but now Jack Hughes, he does turn the puck over. But as long as somebody gets back, I still want him to still keep on taking those risks. I think that's where Jack Hughes used to get burned. Nobody would be back there to help out.
I think that's why these lines work also, because Gritsuk is really a good pairing for him because he does a lot of things off the puck well, too. If you look at him, he wins puck battles. He comes back, he defends, and he also can score, too. So you could see it on that breakaway that they had where they had to defend against Jack's shot. So it looked like Grits might pass it over to him, but he sniped it.
Yep.
And, right there, that's what putting the two of those guys together can do for him. It's just a question of finding who the other person is going to be on that line. Is it Connor Brown in the offseason? Is it going to be somebody else? Is it that true first-line top-scoring winger? Is it Jesper Bratt? There's a few options here. But those two should have some time together to see what can do here.
Yeah. Well, and, again, you got to play the games. We're at game 63 right now. 19 games left. Yes, I know a lot of people say, just to run the table, ha, 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 ha. But I'll tell you, it's a game of momentum. It really is a game of momentum, emotion. And right now you got a confident Devils team going into this game. It's a game that they should beat the New York Rangers, but we know that these rivalry games,
they're heated.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. It's kind of like Red Sox, Yankees. Two teams could have poor years, but still those games are.
But the bottom line is they are 9 points out right now, and we have no idea what the rest of the teams are going to do.
Yep.
So there's a very good chance, that something could happen. So, we talked about it. We don't really know. It's hard to predict. Obviously, there's a small percentage of it happening, but the main thing that they have to do just now is win and not worry about the rest of the standings because they can only control what they can control at this point.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I want everybody to put in your predictions. I know that some of you already put in your predictions, but put in your predictions again for today's game against the New York Rangers. I'm scoreboard watching as we're doing this podcast. Still 1-1 in intermission. Boston and Washington playing at TD Garden up in Boston. So getting into the YouTube Live, I see 5-3 New Jersey, says Dag X Hansen. Let's see here. Trying to look for more scores here. Corbin says 4-0 Devils. Lupus Nades says 4-0 Devils. Wow, a lot of shutouts. 5-0 New Jersey.
Wow.
The Rangers kept Trocheck.
They did. They were not able to move him.
Yep. But JT Miller is out, right? He's out for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see here. Nick Lavelle says 3-2 Devils in overtime. Michael Hayes says 3-2 OT Jack winner. Serve says 4-2 Devils. Selective Voice says 5-3 Devils. Mark Schwab from Switzerland says 4-2 Devils. Bratt with the huge game says Dagex Hansen. 5-1 New Jersey says Pete. Thank you, Pete, for all your remarks. Oh, my goodness. What is your prediction?
We're going to go 6-3 Devils today with a 9-goal Tom Chorsky number total right there.
Wow. All right.
They are going to pop today.
All right. Well, Seagot says 3-1 Devs. See, the last 3 games, I've been predicting the Devils to lose.
Did it work? Obviously it did.
Yeah. So I don't know if I should continue that trend. I actually found my cookie costume, believe it or not. Found the cookie costume. I got it right here. Whoop it out. I got the cookie costume right here.
Mrs. Fields has been on a winning streak as well, too.
Yeah.
So let's
she's
not
been
discount
3-0.
that.
So I don't know if it had something to do with not having this cookie costume and Mrs. Fields going 3-0. But then again, me and the jerseys.
Could be another conspiracy. By the way, RIP to the Palat jersey. I know
Yeah.
we discussed it last time I was on, but is it going to be converted into another person we'd like to jettison?
Right now, it's sitting on the basement floor
Okay.
in the bunker. Don't know yet. 3-2 overtime. Robert Isaacson, Nemec with the game winner. This is a tough one. I'm going to say a 4-2 Devils loss.
Okay. Let's hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
You usually are, though, so.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, that's not true. That's not true. What are you talking about?
You mean
The
it's
team's
not,
going
it's
to the
not normally
playoffs.
9-1 Devils?
Well, you got to temper expectations
Let's
right
temper
now.
it. Let's temper it.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Mark Schwab bought chocolate chip cookies today, but hey, thank you for stopping by the podcast.
Anytime. That's what E-Bubs do.
Yeah, just like, hey, I don't have anybody here.
You know?
No problem. Just call him on my goodness, and he just walks in. He's like, all right.
He fed me, he gave me some clothing. I was just walking the streets, and
Yeah.
here I am.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so we're going to have Devils After Dark after the game. Scotty, a Sirius XM Liquid Metal. You may need to be on standby with that. Scotty on the West Coast, sometimes he gets his times wrong. But, yeah, Scotty, a Sirius XM Liquid Metal, and I will recap the game that was. The lone Devils-Rangers game of the regular season here at The Rock. NHL schedulers, not good.
Not good, but they couldn't have picked a better year to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
when nobody's relevant, so
Well,
next year.
I heard AI does this, so maybe
That
that's what
explains
it. But all right, gonna get out of here for this matinee game. Thank you to everyone tuning in, dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes. Till next time, let's go Devils.